welcome.
You're on mute, Corey.
Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good. I'm just gonna move here so I can see you on our screen.
Oh, right
Welcome. Welcome to Project Team Building. This is our weekly calls here. We have all of the guys you can see with the exception of me and Ken and a couple of guys here behind the scenes. These are our participants and we're working together to build whatever's underneath this cover here that we're gonna surprise the guys with. We just got it back and we're going to show our updates to the guys, which I'm sure you'll then see through our social media and everything afterwards. But
yeah, and I just want to thank you for reaching out to us, Corey. It was awesome to have you on here to share your story with the guys. And Caius, who's behind the scenes, is wondering if you can angle your camera down a little bit. Caius is very creative.
Sure, let me fix that there.
I
guess do you guys record this?
Yeah,
we're gonna record this part. We're gonna record this part and put it on for our guest speaker series. Or if you'd like to do it again afterwards, we can maybe talk about that. But for now, let's just assume we're recording. We are recording it. If that's cool with you.
And if there's things that you'd prefer, because we try to create a safe space for the guys, the recordings for our own purposes, and sometimes we'll share certain snippets. But if there's certain things that you'd like to share that you prefer to not be a part of a broadcast later on, just let us know and we can cut that part out or whatever the case is. We want to try and create a safe space here.
Sure, awesome.
All right.
Thanks for having me. For those that don't know, I'm the founder of Mad Hatter Industries. It's a veteran-owned apparel company. That was their original logo in the background there. It's my 07 night train. And I started Mad Hatter Industries as a mental health initiative when I was going through a mental health crisis, and I lost a few friends to suicide. That really drove the importance of creating a sense of community. And I love what Project Team Building is all about. It's exactly why I got into motorcycling and riding and the club scene. It's just a brotherhood that looks out for one another. So I had that experience with the military, a few tours overseas, some private security work. And then I worked on some teams here in Canada and just kind of moved around. But I've had my own issues that I've dealt with, and I'd be happy to talk about my story and the issues that I've dealt with. But that's really the nuts and bolts of it. We've been around for 3 years as a veteran company, and we're happy to support Project Team Building with some of our shirt designs and however we can. If we'd love to help wrench on a bike or do what we can to increase your exposure to find other people looking for some support.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. We'll definitely chat afterwards on how to move forward. First of all, obviously, thanks again for your service. I know I mentioned that when we first talked, and our own Stefan there, who you can see with the lovely mustache, is also was in the service as well, and so. And I believe you work with Matt, his brother, or you're connected in some way. And so it's awesome that we have all these connections.
That's how I came across, actually, from Matt's brother, Nick. Yeah, awesome dude. And he does similar things, but with Jeeps.
Yeah, Matt's one of our top guys. Definitely in top 10, 11.
He's definitely in the top 11.
Yeah. And yeah, he actually came to the shop here because I know you guys are a little further out, but Matt was here just before the new year, I think, in December when you came by, and you got to see our shop too. Most of these other guys have been as well, and we try to do obviously virtual for when we have to, and for the people that aren't able to come. And like I was saying, we have wrenched here on our bike to kind of tear it down for the last few months with a few of the guys that have been able to come in. So we're trying to make it as inclusive as possible, given the restrictions we got. So, as I said, we're going to start talking with guys who have an awesome story to share, who are connected with mental health and motorcycles, and most of the time, both. So, yeah, I mean, basically, as I said, is you could just kind of talk about your story a little bit more, in more detail, or as much detail as you'd like to get into, kind of your history, how you ended up where you're at, and then maybe we could talk later about any challenges or things that come along the way.
Yeah, sure. So I've dealt with a few issues. I guess predominantly would be depression, alcoholism, of course, a common thing. It's almost encouraged in the military, at least when I first started. Things have sort of changed now. But between the two tours, I did some private security experience out in Barbados and kind of got into that sort of lifestyle where alcoholism was kind of a professional kind of it was an habitual kind of thing that you did as a part of the job. Really, it was just became a functional alcoholic, and you don't really notice the issues until things catch up to you when you're by yourself. But when I started on the teams where Nick works, it's kind of where things really started to come to a head, where I had panic attacks that started coming and had no idea what that was, and then just the depression, and I realized I wasn't alone. And unfortunately, I didn't talk about those issues and share them with others. And I think the biggest issue with that is people feel like they are alone, and when you don't share those experiences, people they tend to go down a spiral that sometimes they don't go back from. So when I lost a good friend of mine, I was actually backpacking through Central America, and I couldn't come back for his celebration of life, unfortunately. But I lost another friend shortly after, but a couple of years later, and he had passed away the day after Halloween. He'd gone trick or treating with his kids, and then his wife found him the next morning, basically swinging from the rafters. And I'll never forget the look of his daughter's face. And I would never, now that I have kids, I would never want to have that look on my own daughter's face. So it's something I always remember. And it's really part of the mission on why we created the community with Mad Hatter Industries. And really, it's kind of synonymous with mental health initiatives. So what we do is we look to help people find what they're passionate about and help them live their life. You know, find their own adventure, if it's wrenching on a bike or just basically getting out there and getting active. I think the more healthy or active you are with your lifestyle, getting out there, talking about things, just moving, doing the right things, the better you're going to feel, and in turn, the better that's going to help your mental health. I think they're very intertwined and interconnected. And yeah, it's good to have some junk food every now and then, but it's really easy to fall into a spiral of just doing negative things that make things counterintuitive to where you want to go. So now that I'm still in the military part time as a reservist, work full time at the nuclear plants, I've been able to start this as a passion project. And I really love designing, and I silk screen in my basement where I make these designs. And basically, we've started from a small little business to a small and growing community of about 100 or so individuals across the country. We have some folks down in the States, but the motorcycling is really what's kept us together. But I guess it's more kind of like an adventure lifestyle. Like, not everyone is into motorcycling. I really love it. I started a club with 7 of my friends that I went to Blackwater with. We did some private contracting and worked overseas. I'll take the picture off and I can show the camera here because you're recording. But there were 7 of us that started a club called the Pale Horseman Pipe Hitters Union Motorcycle Club. It was a charter in Ottawa, and we basically just rode a bunch of vets. Some of us didn't even have our M2. We were just like M1 on the highway, riding down in the States, and just doing things we probably shouldn't have. And fortunately, we all survived, and now we're older and wiser. But we're here to impart that wisdom of others of the healthy, active lifestyle, but also what that wind therapy has really helped for the soul. You know, I think it's important to do things where you can just get away from it all, and the motorcycling is really a part of that. And just the whole culture, you know, the Harley Davidson culture particularly, you find it's kind of like a family. And I've always found that in the States whenever I ride around. But I've always had metric bikes. It's actually my first Harley, and it's always been an adventure. We've been all over the States. I haven't been out west yet, but I want to do a coast to coast trip. I've been all the way to Austin, Texas, and almost to the Mexican border. But adventures everywhere we've gone, and I've really enjoyed it. I've never really said no to any opportunity that's come my way, which has really been to my advantage because it allowed me to do 2 tours in Afghanistan and The first one was a little traumatic. We lost 23 people, and two of them I was pretty close with. One of them I was on a vacation with called HLTA, and I actually responded to the attack they got killed on. So my second tour, I got injured, but I was able to rehabilitate, and I did a climb in Nepal through a foundation called True Patriot Love, and then that helped me pull my head out of my ass and get the chip off my shoulder and start doing things that I should do to have a better attitude and be more positive to other people. But I think there were times in my life where I was basically, frankly, quite an asshole to other people, and you know, it wasn't intentional. It was just I was dealing with some things that unfortunately I wasn't aware of, maybe how I was hurting others, but it's been a long road, and I had somebody that believed in me more than I did, and us. So my wife's been around, and she's kind of been there through thick and thin through both tours in my private security experience, and then we've been able to have a family, which is a complete game changer. So I never would have before 30, I never would have thought that I'd make it to 30, and now I'm almost 40. So doing things I've always wanted to do, learning how to skydive and working on the bike, and hopefully helping out other groups and individuals by telling my story that things do get better. You know, you have to take the responsibility to get the help you need, and take the responsibility to get those actions going that help you get a little bit better every day. I always call it the 1% mentality, where you try to be 1% better every day, and you don't worry about your past. You aren't who you were in the past. You just focus on where you're going, where your feet are at, what you can change.
It's awesome, man. Really inspirational stuff.
When I hear you speak, I just hear strength, my friend. Like honestly, thank you very much for sharing. I hear strength. Honestly, I'm speechless. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here.
You seem like a pretty strong dude, and obviously I have no idea what you guys have to go through, you know, coming back and seeing the things that you had to see, and you know, it's obviously very traumatic. And how soon after did you realize that you had to really put the effort into your own mental health? Was it someone who helped you do that, or you know, did you just realize, I guess much like me and a lot of people, you know, just what you have to do for yourself, and you just try to do as much as you can, and just kind of, you know, try to do better, like you said, every day on yourself and otherwise. So yeah, just a little more on that if you want to share.
For sure. It didn't start right away, and it wasn't easy, and I think things got worse before they got better. And I probably knew what I should have been doing, but it was a lot easier to do what I shouldn't be doing, and just make excuses. And until I started taking responsibility for my actions and not blaming others, really what happened after that pivotal moment of losing a few people I knew and starting this company, it was almost like, I don't know if you know who David Goggins is, but he created like a pseudo character of himself called Goggins, and basically that person is who he aspired to be. And that's what I created with the Mad Hatter Industries logo. So it comprises the values of our company: integrity, honesty, courage, and respect. And it just made me a better person, because I became part of a community where I was responsible for my actions and to be an example to others. So not just to myself, but for others. So that really helped. And I really found it therapeutic helping others. And it taught me a lot of patience. Learning how to build a clothing company is not easy. It's a saturated business. We haven't made any money. Most of the the profits we make go back into the company or to charities that help mental health initiatives. And fortunately, I get paid pretty good with the company I do work at. So it's nice to have that stability. Starting a family helps, but it was really about taking the responsibility and doing the actions that needed to be done to become who I knew I could be, stronger and more my unique version of myself, instead of sitting there on the couch making excuses.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what we've been, you know, doing here, and what I've been sharing with my story over the last, you know, few years, is that, you know, sharing the story benefits you as much as it might benefit others. You know, it does show people that, you know, we're all capable of suffering and dealing with struggles. And, you know, you could be as tough or as manly as a guy, you know, you're probably right up there on the list of the manliest type of men out there, you know, military. And, you know, it requires an incredible amount of strength and courage, but you can't be immune from the issues that will come from it, unfortunately. And so glad that you were able to channel it into something positive, and, you know, to continue to share your story and other people's stories, to just kind of keep the ball rolling and just kind of hopefully let everyone else benefit as much as you might be. So thanks a lot for that. Does any of the guys have questions? Sorry.
I was just going to say the same thing. What if the guys have any questions for Corey?
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you still like have mental health issues? Do they still crop up? And do you have to maintain to keep them
Yeah,
going, like?
I do have real anger issues, and I keep it at bay because I know it isn't always hard to keep it at bay, but I do find the more stressed I get, the more it comes out. And I grew up kind of in an abusive sort of situation. I was actually raised by my grandparents, but a lot of anger there, and it just kind of comes out sometimes. But I guess now, positively looking back, I have outlets and I have really strong mentors and community that have helped keep me motivated and focused. I really find it helpful to get on the mats. I do jiu-jitsu as much as I can. Once a week, I'll go boxing as well, just because I think the community there is just so positive. So finding a gym of people that you can, like-minded individuals in different things. I do, when I have time, I don't have really much time for anything because they just keep such a tight leash and it keeps me from going off the rails. But when I do have the spare time, I do what I can to get outside, get back in touch with nature. I'll go every bolt of that bike, and then I'll have the mechanic look over it to make sure it doesn't fall apart on me. But I do love going through the tedious, like just going through the detail of everything. And making t-shirts was super frustrating. So I learned that being frustrated and angry doesn't help. You need to channel it in a more positive way. So it's taught me, instead of turning to, say, alcohol or other vices, it's basically just channeling in a positive direction. I think energy is what it is. We're all naturally, as men, we have some aggression. I think it's important to address that, not suppress it, but channel it in a positive way. Use it for a creative outlet, or going for a run for inspiration. I think everyone here probably has different things that they like to do. And I think naturally we like to win as well. So there's that competitive nature, but you have to realize there's a time and place for everything. You can't win everything, but it's important to learn the lesson. So if you're not learning or advancing, then you got to readjust and see what's wrong and then tweak and check, but do those things that you can do that you enjoy in a healthy way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, and that's kind of what we see on your, you know, on your posts a lot is, you know, you make sure to reinforce those messages, and you know, you're doing a great job at it. And yeah, we're trying to do as best we can too to promote the same thing. I mean, we just do it in a different way. We're doing it through a bike build, and, you know, we're just trying to relate in a certain way to not only our guys here, but to the whole community who can benefit from seeing a project, you know, come to fruition and just kind of feel like they've been a part of it. And you know, obviously promote the message that just by doing things like that, or, you know, what you're doing, and that in itself is the activity that helps to, you know, push your mental health to a little bit more positive direction. So yeah,
and I don't give myself anything. Like, the process is a reward. I don't necessarily I don't have that sugar-coated kind of feeling where I deserve anything. I deserve the challenge, and that's what I find as a reward. I don't look for anything out of life. You know, it's just kind of, it is what it is. I enjoy the challenge, and I think that's the reward right there. So I guess it's kind of like an attitude thing. You look for the best outcomes, but if they don't go your way, you just take that as a challenge and as part of the adventure. So really do what you can to enjoy the curves that are thrown at you, and it's a lot better when you enjoy it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, John, for that question. Anyone else? All right. Otherwise, why don't for anyone who might be watching, like I said, we're going to post this in a little bit. So why don't you just let everyone know who's watching where they can go to learn more about you and your company and your social media, website, whatever you got.
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is www.madhatterindustries.ca.com, and Instagram is probably where we get like 90% of our traffic. So Mad Hatter Industries. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We're on TikTok. I don't understand how that works, but we're there.
Neither do I, man.
Sometimes, yeah, I get around to answering things.
You can help us out with that after.
It's a new generation, I guess. I'm just, I do enjoy the videos. I think they're really creative. I love seeing like the different medium. I've always been kind of artistic, and instead of just a knuckle dragger breaking stuff, it's nice to have a creative outlet. And I find Instagram can be both positive and negative depending on how you look at it, as long as you're not comparing yourself to others, but you're more or less looking for inspiration or seeing what other people are doing. And in the bike community, it's really helped connect and link together what's going down in the South and really all over the world. So I find that really cool. Yeah, that's how you can find us. Yeah.
Right on. Thanks a lot, man. And yeah, for sure. We'll talk to you as we go on, and hopefully we can connect more. And, we appreciate you coming on and chatting with us, and, for the larger community who's going to be tuning into this. And yeah, good luck with everything, and we'll keep in contact. So
yeah, and I just want to thank you for your service. I mean, I was fortunate enough in 2008, I was working for a company who was trying to sell something to Department of National Defense. So I was involved in a live fire training exercise for 2 reservist brigades that were headed over to Afghanistan. So 28 and 41 brigades. So it was literally a live fire, 1 month long live fire exercise at Dundurn. So it was a really awesome experience watching your colleagues train, and I can only imagine what you went through over there. So thank you for your service.
Well, yeah, I was 24 years old. It's an exciting adventure, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Despite all that's happened, it was an honor to go over there, and I learned a lot. So we had some amazing people that I got to work with. Definitely some incredible people. So for me, thanking me for my service, but anyone probably would have done it in my circumstance, and I'm going on 20 years now. It feels like, it just went by so fast. So yeah, it was an honor.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot again. And we'll hope to see you even on the road too. We'll get our Harleys together. We have a few Harleys here in the group, and everyone else also, we don't just
2 wheels are cool wheels, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be at the motorcycle show as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we'll also be there. We're going to talk with our guys about it. Actually, thanks for reminding us. We do have to bring that up too. And
so knock on wood that we're all still able to be in person, and that thing is going to go on. But hopefully, we'll see you there.
Hopefully, maskless, but I won't be that positive as long as we can get together.
Pardon my French, but I fucking hate this.
Got too ambitious. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. But yeah, for sure, we'll see you there or beforehand. Thanks a lot, and have a great night, and keep on keeping on.
Awesome. Great to meet y'all.
Thanks, man. All right. Thanks a lot, Corey.